Hello, ladies and gentlemen, transvestites. How are you? How is everyone? You're all welcome to the Dead Hedgehogs podcast. I hope you're well. This is our 15th or 16th Agony Uncle, is it, lads? We're going to do an
Yeah.
Agony Uncle.
I haven't a clue at this stage.
Yeah. So
We haven't done one in a while, though. We haven't done one in a while, lads.
So for anybody that's watching this podcast for the first time, it's basically people write into our page on 3 Bucks Left and Dead Hedgehogs page, and if they have a tale of woe, if they have a story, if they need some help, or if they just need to reach out, we'll talk to them and give them some advice. Not that we're experts, but we've lived a longish, hard life, and myself and if you ask a bald man a question, he'll tell you a wise answer. I don't know what Cowboy's problem is. He'll give you a straight answer.
He's a bald man with hair.
He's a bald man with hair. Yeah. He's in denial. He's in denial. But
so I'm hanging on to mine to the bitter end. I mean, just in case I've started growing it on my face just for collateral.
Good stuff. Good stuff. It looks well. So it does. So I've got a few questions here that were texted in, and there's a few people that texted me privately, and I got back to them, and they were asking for your advice, lads.
Did they send any pictures?
They didn't send any pictures. No, they didn't send any pictures. So the first question is, and they're kind of similar. There's one that kind of leads on to the other, and it's not that edgy or anything. So how do you get up early in the morning? That's one of the first questions.
Are you sure this wasn't me sending you this, Pete? Because I'm
Well, I don't know why you're asking him, because he doesn't get up early in the morning if he can either.
No. It's brilliant when you do get up early, though. You feel mighty. As long as you're well rested.
It feels like you have 2 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was always one. I'll go first, Chris.
Yeah,
I was always one for getting up early. You know, lads, even at the end of gigs or nights out, we could be up till 5, 4, 6 in the morning, and I'd still be up at 7:30 or 8 o'clock.
Yeah, because you're still drunk, man.
Well, that even when I wasn't, especially like a night or day or two after drinking, that's when I really couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
But it's just a habit I got into when I was a kid. It was pure habit. I used to give myself jobs to do in the morning, even before school, like even knickknacks, and I got into a habit of doing it. And suddenly then when I would sleep in, we'll say on a school day, and I used to set the fire up, and I'd have the tea made for mother and father. I'd have the place a little bit of tidying done.
Would the tea not go cold by the time they got up?
Yeah, no, 4 o'clock in the morning. The fucking ignorant bastards won't even come down for their tea.
It would be. I would literally, even as a kid, I would have it planned, time to perfection, that it would be my mother's time for getting up, because she had to be at work before 8 o'clock, and she used to cycle in. But I'd have the very least I'd do is have the 2 cups beside the kettle, and the tea bags in, and a spoon. And then if I'd leave it at that, and I'd go about my business. But when I didn't have them things done in the day, I felt rotten. So I made myself get into a habit of getting up early to do them things. And then as it progressed, I kept that thing whole going. But the one thing about it is, since the lockdown has came in, that sort of has, I feel like I would love to get back. Would you believe, lads, that the other night, I know I shouldn't be, this is like treating it as my problem. The other night, this is one thing I would suggest. The other night, what I done was, to get myself up early in the morning, was I drove into Westport about 10, 11K from where I'm living in Mersk. I left the car there. Now, I knew the next day that I had to be in Swinford at 10 o'clock. And I knew that herself would be on the road at 7:30. So for me to get the car again, I would have had to get up early to get into the car to get a lift back in. Now, I could have ran back in again, but I would have left myself the chance that I would have been late.
I'm confused. So you drove from your house 10K away?
Yeah, 11K, yeah.
11K, and then you ran back?
Yeah.
And then you woke up early that morning, so you ran to
So you
get the
could
car.
get,
Is it?
so you could pick the car up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that was a good idea.
Okay.
That was a good idea.
Yeah, but that was just one thing. So make sure that you like. So that's an example of getting you back into a routine and a habit again, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. Like, I mean, when I say I left it in there, I left it in there at about 9:30 at night, and I ran out around the 11th out, so it was 10:30 or 11 by the time I got back out. Had a shower, went to bed, and I had to get up again in the morning. So it forced me to get. I just want to get my sleep pattern back again, so that I do get up early. Because
And how did you exercise too late? Did you sleep that night, or was it
you know what? I didn't.
probably
Pete.
didn't.
I made a mistake. The idea was,
You exercised too late.
yeah, I exercised way too late. I was jumping in the bed, and not in a good way.
Yeah. That's the problem. I know sometimes when I used to come back from jiu-jitsu, we train in jiu-jitsu and you do fucking wrestling, fucking Hardy skins from Donegal on the training. Like sometimes you used to do 3 hours of jiu-jitsu, like to be an hour of MMA afterwards. You might do a small bit of sparring or something. But then you'd come back. Not that I did much of it. Then you'd come back and sure you'd have food. And then you'd be lying in the bed like this.
Yeah.
There's no way you were going to sleep. There's no way you were going to sleep.
You're there with the girlfriend in a headlock going, oh shit, sorry about that. Yeah. She's like, I thought you were so nice and cuddly.
No, but sometimes you get overtired. And you can't sleep, even though you're wrecked. Like there's many times I probably stayed up 2 nights and no sleep. And then I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to sleep tonight. And then you don't sleep. But I think the key is like sometimes people have naps. Some people have naps. Some people don't have naps. I think a nap is a good thing. I think a nap is a good thing.
If you can, like.
If you can. Set your sleep pattern.
Yeah, but don't have too much of a nap. Don't have too long of a nap.
Yeah.
Because
the Japanese swear by it. They're like, even at work, they have power naps.
Yeah, but they're overworked, in their culture.
Yeah, they're
overworked.
Like I suppose, like I'd look at it this way. Like I know for myself because I'm working a regular job. Just like everyone else, like that. I will push it to the absolute limit for getting up if I let myself. Do you get me?
What do you mean push it to the absolute limit?
If say I have to be in work at 8:30, and if I tell myself I can keep on pushing the bed to 8 o'clock now, another 2 or 3 minutes, I won't. And then next it's 8:10, and you're like, oh god, and I'm scrambling and I'm trying to jump into clothes and run out the door, but I'll detrimentally do that to myself if I let myself. So I have to force myself to get up. I almost have to tell myself to go out for a walk before I go to work, or I have to do something else. I have to get, like, as soon as I wake up, the only way, like my routine in the morning to get up and be alert immediately is to, as soon as I wake up, to get out of the bed.
Yeah, first alarm. Don't press snooze. Snooze is a killer.
So
snooze is evil. You shouldn't have invented snooze, because I know I've often woke up before the alarm, and you're wide awake, and then you're like, no, I'll get another few minutes. Another few minutes, and then when you first snooze, you're even more tired the second time.
Yeah, I get you.
You're more tired the second time. So I think if you get up, you feel cheated sometimes because you wake up before the alarm. You're like, fuck, I deserve another few minutes. But then them few minutes make you more tired. You know what I mean?
What do you think the lads of putting the alarm outside the bed?
Yeah,
down the end of the room or something, and an old school alarm that's that one that's clanging away, like
or else leave the phone in a different room. Don't use your phone as your alarm if you can.
Yeah.
Turn off the phone and put it somewhere else.
But you can turn on airplane mode and leave the alarm on.
Yeah, you can, but my phone, you can turn it off at night. I just turn it off at night because I used to have it on. I don't think it's good to have the phone on beside you.
No, you're probably right.
You know what I mean?
Well, it keeps you up, like.
Yeah, the thing about the place that I'm living in now, the apartment I'm in, the only room in the house that there's no Wi-Fi and there's no signal in Murrisk, but I'm depending on the Wi-Fi, is the master bedroom. So there's no point in me even bringing down the phone because there's no signal. And when I say no signal, I mean dead. It's well off on airplane mode.
That's great.
So what I have noticed is when I do wake up and that habit of checking the phone,
Yeah.
I have to get out of bed, walk up the hall into the kitchen to get the phone. So it makes me get up anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my sleep pattern is gone. But anyway, we're sort of deviating from the actual problem of the problem.
I know,
What would
but
I?
No, it's all relevant. It's all relevant.
yeah,
How do you get up in the
how do you
morning?
get up in the morning? How do you is literally making a decision to just no excuses. Just
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
it all starts with the night before as well. Like I
that's
can
true.
get up. Like there's ways you can get up. Like you can get up, like you said, Chris, and I've done that before when I was working in surf instructing. I'd be working at like maybe 8 or 9, and I'd get up at like 10 to 9. I knew it was a 10-minute drive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'd get up 10 to 9. So I wouldn't bother with any breakfast, not as bothered, you know. But I'd fucking brush teeth and fucking drive straight in, rushing. And then I'd get in, I'd be fucking panicked.
Yeah.
And it'd take you fucking 20 minutes to relax. You know what I mean? After being panicked. And but imagine if you got up like 2 hours beforehand, or 3 hours beforehand, like, and then just relaxed. But then again, you'd
But-
have to go to bed if you want to
But
get
you
up.
have to get your sleep in as well. So the thing is, you
Yeah.
have to like
Yeah,
have
but
a 10 o'clock switch off for what is it called, blue light, which means like social media and television.
yeah,
But like,
yeah,
yeah, like that's all well and good, unless it's all very easy to say that.
it's easy to say that, but it has to put into practice. Yeah,
You
But
know,
if this person wants to do it, this is what you have to do.
yeah, like at the end of the day, if you want to get up on time, even if you didn't sleep, you have to get up, you have to set an alarm and do it every day, and then it becomes the easiest thing in the world. And then
Yeah.
you won't stay up late because you know how badly it'll affect you.
yeah, true,
Go on.
true.
You want to be there. You'll want to keep a routine going. It's addictive like everything else. That
Yeah.
if you get up on time, as I know myself, I'm generally 10 or 15 minutes early into work every day. I'm
Well, I
always
bet
one
you're,
of the first there, like
I bet you're more relaxed. I bet you're more productive as well.
always. And
More productive.
I often have a lot more done than it's probably one of my most productive parts of the day, because it's I'm there for a reason. And then everyone
Yeah.
else comes in, there's a bit of a distraction, and you know, like that first part of the day, you just get a bit of a flow to it. You get stuck in, you're like, right, I've set my day up right. If I throw it out of kilter at all,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
I think some people have natural dispositions for morning and evening. Like I naturally have an evening disposition, but I know.
I used to say that to myself all the time
Yeah,
until I had to be out on the road at 5:45 every morning. And
yeah.
suddenly I'm a morning person.
On about getting to work 15 minutes. When Aldi expects you to be there 15 minutes early, it's frowned upon.
Yeah.
It used to be anyway. Apparently they have laxed on the rules, but Aldi expects you to be there 15 minutes before your shift time, even in the morning.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
And
but, you know, it's a real German company. It's very, very disciplined and very streamlined.
I remember
Yeah,
working.
but there has to be a give and take there as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, of course. I gave and I took.
Well,
Yeah.
I remember when working in pubs, and I was chronically late all the time because the bosses would be chronically late and everyone else was chronically late, and it became this. It was almost a culture in itself that if you were on time, it was like you're a fool, because you could get away with taking 10 or 15 minutes off. It was like, which led to lax parts in other parts of stuff that you were supposed to.
Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
so like I think this person just has to be honest with themselves and like
get into a habit. It has to be a habit, and even if that means setting yourself goals for the first while, it's just to get into that habit.
Yeah.
It's funny you should this one should come up, lads, because I was in the shower today and I didn't have my shower until like 10:30 or 11 o'clock, and I just noticed over the last few weeks, probably because lockdown was just, eventually getting to everyone, and I was thinking to myself, I had so much to do this morning and I'm so slow at getting it done, and over the last while I'm starting to get more done in the evenings, where it was the other way around. And I just was in the shower and I looked down and I thought, fuck me, I'm turning into Pete.
The evening time, yeah, the evening time. But
Yeah.
I've got better at the morning now a bit, but I'd like to. I don't know. You get a second one.
I remember saying to you that I'm going to change that routine for you, but it's not. You've worn on. You've worn into me, and it was meant to be the other way around. But
well, I think if you got your exercise in earlier, Steve. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you got your exercise in earlier, you'd be more tired than evening instead of being wide awake.
In saying that, lads, work is different. I'm on call, so I could get called at any time, and that sort of throws curveballs. But I should like that, and you know this, social media and stuff like that has a lot to do with it. I could have had a lot more done today if I fucking put the phone down sometimes. So maybe this fella or girl, I don't even know what it is, or what it is, who it is. Maybe like there should be a cutoff point at time at night for social media.
I think everyone is guilty of that phone.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone is guilty of the phone because the phone
watch this podcast first.
The phone is so involved in everybody's life now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a whole different topic as well. It's it's connected. The phone is connected to everything, like really.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got another question. This girl from Longford, she's worried about her brother. He's hanging out with the wrong crowd.
We worry about like lads in the wrong crowd, generally in their mid to late teens.
I think the sister is kind of older, and the lad must be younger. But depends. See, this I don't have much more information. Depends on her perception of what the bad crowd is. Like they could be really wrong-uns, real dodgy boys, or they could be just like a few lads smoking an odd joint here and again, and they're a bit harmless. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, one thing for her is that she won't change his mind by telling him.
No, she has to. Just be there for him and try and explain it to him. Yeah,
and she must be like. I was often up to daft shit, and never anything bad, just up to silly shit as a teenager, and I suppose because I was the oldest, no one was there looking out going, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. You get me? Because nothing that was that bad, and I can understand being the oldest where his sister is coming from, that you would worry if you saw a bit of trouble, like maybe one or two of the lads are doing they can drive, like, and you see it all the time, especially in smaller towns like Longford. We grew up in a small town too, that it does take only one or two of the lads to cast a bad shadow on the rest of the lads involved in the group as well.
It's a funny one because you can take a bad turn too when you're young as well,
It's very easy to get ostracized from a small town.
That's true. Like you make a few mistakes as a young lad, and then you got a bad reputation or whatever.
But on the flip side of that, if he doesn't toe the line with this group of friends, he feels like he's missing out, or he's going to be left behind. So it's a fine line. Obviously, if she's texting him, she's obviously worried. Enough. Worried enough, and I don't think anyone would go to the trouble of texting if it was just, the lads mooned the priest the last night or something like that.
That was great, man.
That was the first thing that popped into my head.
That's innocent enough, but that could go back. Yeah. That could backfire. The priest could get,
hard on.
That's a different problem.
That's different. Getting the fish altogether.
But you're definitely by shouting at him or roaring at him or going at him full tilt, it doesn't have the effect that you think it will. It's a bit like anything. If you say no, you like sharp no, sometimes it has the wrong effect. Whereas you explain, listen, it's not good. You're going to end up going down the wrong path. What if this happens? If you get a criminal record, if you're caught drink driving, if you're caught drunk driving, what happens if you're driving and you're in an accident, you kill someone, your life is ruined. So you just have to, kindly sort of go about it and explain this person. But obviously, the person has hope if she's worried about him and she wants advice.
Yeah.
She feels like he's not a no hoper.
Family is the most frustrating stuff. Like coming from a small town, it's just like it'd be so frustrating being around family. And I can sympathize with her, but all you have to do is just wait until, because he'll mature.
Yeah, but he mightn't either. He might, like Cowboy said, he might go down the wrong road. Like
Maybe.
You know what I mean? He might go down the wrong road, and he might.
And there's nothing she can really do about that. If he chooses to make those decisions in life, we all have decisions to make. As long as he's a good person, he doesn't do anything that's going to hurt someone else.
Would she tell the parents to try and get the parents to do something or something?
Maybe that is an option for her.
Maybe it's not an option. You just don't know.
Yeah, maybe there's no parents in the mix. There might be no parents in the mix.
Yeah,
I remember when I was young that if I was messing or something, like my outfit would bring me fishing, we'd be going to handball matches, we'd be going to my uncle's doing fucking shit in the bog. Do you know what I mean? We'd be so busy, like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My father did the exact same to me. If I was doing any messing.
It was clever. It was a clever thing to do, you know, because you're actually brought away and you were missing the crack, but at the same time, you weren't getting in trouble. Like, you know, I remember
you didn't have a choice in the matter.
Yeah, well, I remember one summer, like, I used to go up to my granny's, like haymaking or whatever. Like, I sound like I'm fucking Huckleberry Finn now, but it was great crack. Like, you know what I mean? But, like, you used to be going up haymaking or like doing the turf, and you'd be gone for like 3 or 4 weeks in the summer, and then you come back and they'd be like, "Did you hear what happened? Fucking the boys broke Lavelle's window." I'd be like, "Oh fuck, when did that happen?" Lavelle's were the fucking, I don't know, the lads were cross-eyed. Their eyes are crossed as fuck, like. But we always beat them up, like. But they deserved it. They deserved it. But their window was broke. And to give you a bit of backstory, Lavelle's were the lads that used to be kind of friends with you, and then all of a sudden, when they were you'd be walking home from school, they'd start shouting at you, going, "Your mother's a bitch! Your mother's a bitch! Fuck off!" Just when they're at their door. So then you'd run up and you'd clock them before they got into the door.
Is that did they live in Park Road?
The cul-de-sac there. The cul-de-sac.
Yeah, beside where I built the first house.
Where you built your first house? Yeah. But anyway, that's beside the point. Talk about name and shaming. But they were nice lads. All the same. But
a bit unfortunate.
Exactly. But I remember one time we were it was snowing and we all came together. There used to be a feud and everyone came together. People that never hung out, and we built this massive snowman in the golf course. A massive snowman, and we put eyes on him, put a willy on him, and everything. Do you know what I mean? And it was like the whole people came together, gangs came together, massive snowman. And then the Lavelles knocked the snowman, and we just kicked the living shit out of it.
We're trying to give advice here to this lady.
Sorry, I don't know why I got into that story. Sorry. They've been unfortunate since. I think a few of them passed away. So sorry to hear that. You know,
but that's youthful exuberance. As well.
It was only a bit of crack, like. But that's what I'm saying. You can go down, you know, a road. So just I don't know.
And look, they went down. A couple of them went down a bad road, and they paid the price for it. So
and worse, you know. It's one of these things. Look, get back on point with this girl and not take away from Pete's story about beating the shit out of the Lavelles.
I'm probably going to regret that when it aired.
I don't think any of us will ever regret that.
Well, it's just a true story. It's a true story.
What sort of willy did you put on?
I think we put a carrot on the snowman. Yeah, I'm going like this.
Like this girl has this lad's going to make his own choices, and she just has to be there and make sure that, you know, she knows.
But don't let it mess up your own life either.
Yeah. I think sometimes, like, I know what you're saying, Cowboy. You're saying don't bollock them and keep it nicey. And
sometimes maybe he's the lad that needs that.
Sometimes
maybe you do once off, but if you keep doing it, it's like
he might clam up and he might be secretive and it might ruin the relationship.
Like water off a duck's back. I would say go into the more not mad, but disappointed, and play on his good heart.
Yeah, it's true. I have another 2 questions, lads, and then I'll move it on to you, Chris. Another question. This is from Johnny in Australia. It's a funny one. Well, it's not funny. I shouldn't be laughing at man's problems, but it's a peculiar one. Johnny from Australia. His girlfriend loves pushing her finger up his bum. It started with a finger, and now she's getting more adventurous. How does he tell her to stop?
That is funny. And don't ever tell me that it's not funny. A problem or not, that's fucking funny.
Anything with the finger up the bum is funny, especially when it's not like
not your bum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Johnny is living the dream down under.
He is living the dream, and a lot of men would love that. And I just want to say that I would not be one of them. But But I know that some girls or ladies or women love doing it to lads or other lads or lads.
I know. I've had a girl or two put their fingers up in the bum, and I was like, I'll try it. And I tried it. I was open-minded, but it just felt uncomfortable. It felt like I wanted to poo. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Well, do you know what I mean? So, hey, some people like wine, some people like beer.
Yeah, exactly. But I stuck my thumb up my bum once.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
It was by complete accident.
What do you mean by complete accident?
Well, you hardly tripped over.
I remember I told this story up in Dublin. I remember Paul Regan was there, Aoife Frere was there, Martin was there. It was
I think you told me.
Yeah. It was the funniest thing ever.
You were in the bath.
They were bent over. I was in the bath, yeah. I was in the bath, and what happened was I remember I was in the bath and I was getting ready to go on this date. And I was given I'd loads of time, which I don't usually have. So I ran the bath. I love my baths. I love them. I ran the bath, and I had lathered up myself. I probably didn't have long hair at the time, and I definitely didn't have a beard. But I had soap all over the place. I had suds, my hands, my legs, everything, and I was giving it all a clean up in between the foreskin, the whole works. And then I was like cleaning out the crack, but I was going both ways, from the back and from the ball sack down. But whatever way, my thumb was completely just lathered in soap. So eventually I worked it down, and I was getting in.
No, you just you don't have to go blow by blow.
A deep massage. A deep massage, and then it just literally just went pop straight in.
How far to go in?
Oh, I'd say down to me knuckle, or down to this.
Christ, you could have lost a hand. Yeah, but
I don't know. I don't know if that helps him, to be honest.
What did you enjoy it, Steve?
Well, not really. I just had a bit of a shock. I remember going, oop.
Yeah.
So are you trying to relate to him by saying, well, I fucking thumbed myself once? I don't understand this at all.
And anyway, that's my 2 cents worth.
What's your advice? You didn't give any 2 cents.
That was nothing. Steve. You just said I stuck my thumb up my arse.
Soap it up for starters. Entry will be more pleasant, and
I think you enjoy that more than you're letting on now, Steve.
Maybe
it's okay.
It's okay. That's cool. Like,
it's okay.
I'll try it again sometime and see. Did I enjoy the experience? No, listen.
Do it on someone else's podcast.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live from the
Live
bat.
stream,
We'll do it live
yeah.
from the bat.
On this podcast, someone else's.
You just have to be honest, man. You just have to say it's not for me.
Just say.
Just say it. Yeah.
You could say, I'm actually worried that you come out without a finger.
Yeah.
Because that swinger's like a fucking cigar cutter.
But I think it's progressed because he said it was I think he said it was a finger first, and then it's progressing to a bit more. So I think he alluded to the fact that I think
no. If he's not enjoying it, he has to say no.
Yeah, he just has.
She might think that he's enjoying it.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
You know, it's like if someone is cooking you something that you don't really like, but you said polite on the first date, oh, I love scallops, and suddenly every fucking week the scallops, and you hate scallops.
Yeah.
You know, and by the way, I love scallops, but
yeah, I'm not particularly on scallops now, and I like fish.
I know you don't. Yeah,
there's a bit of an aftertaste. There's an aftertaste.
Yeah. I know, but if you put them with some nice buttery garlic, like
maybe.
butter.
I love how we went from thumb up the bum to scallops.
But it's sort of shaped like a thumb. You know, it had the little tail out of it.
Listen, anyway. I think, Chris, what do you think? He just has to confront her.
Yeah, he just has to say, stop stuffing me. I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Let me take Cowboy's advice and just stuff myself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know,
and
if things don't work out, just give her my number.
Yeah. You'll head to Australia, will you?
I have another 2 questions, lads, and I know you have a question, Chris. So I'll keep it short. This guy is worried about his sister. She is drinking too much, and she is very, very sensitive when he brings it up.
Say that again, Pete. I was just a little distracted from our last story, but just say it again.
No. This guy, he's worried about his sister. She's drinking too much, and anytime he brings it up to her, she's very sensitive about it. She doesn't entertain it at all. Yeah. What advice would you give to this guy? How does he help his sister out?
This is a tough one because it's not.
It is a tough one.
This isn't an isolated incident. This is really is. It's a problem. Not just
there's barely a family in Ireland that doesn't have some sort of relation to a problem like this.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, and it's not talked about that much in Ireland, really, is it?
No, well, it's accepted.
Pardon?
It's nearly accepted.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of they make up these kind of euphemisms, you know. She's fond of the drink, or
she's a bit of a character.
Bit of a character.
She's a bit of a loose one.
Yeah, rough and ready. Yeah, she need a few looseners. It's just built into her culture, kind of, in a way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think there's a difference between someone enjoying a couple of drinks and someone being out of control, because it's not just the drink. Then there's some underlying issue that's creating that type of compulsion to harm themselves. Because at the end of the day, we're all fond of a couple of drinks every now and again.
100%, of course. Yeah,
I know that we've all done damage to ourselves, as in we've pushed it too far.
Yeah. It's true.
Probably in all aspects, physically, mentally, and reputationally, through drinks.
Of course.
100%. But there's almost some sort of like rites of passage in Ireland with drink.
There is. It's shocking attitude,
but like there isn't, like, because there is, like, going drinking has given me some of the best nights out of my life.
Oh, that's true too. But
some of the best family events and all that type of stuff.
That's a healthy relationship. That's a healthy relationship with drinking. But some people don't share that healthy relationship like you do, or Pete does, or well, I'm trying to myself as well. Well, I do. Yeah. Like when I drink, the problem with me is when I drink, it's full duck or no dinner. Like I just don't do 2 or 3 pints. But then I mightn't drink for a month, you know.
Yeah. But is that like, is that giving yourself an out in a way? Is that like, I haven't drank this long in a month now. I can do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I
can,
would love to be able to do what you do. You can have a few, 3 or 4, or like, I know that you can go mad as well, but I know that you can do 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 and leave it at that, or but then again,
I think Chris is more disciplined in that sense. He can do 3 or 4. I'm more like you, Cowboy. I think it's
well, maybe,
it's
yeah.
all duck or no dinner. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes, but I've tried to change that.
Sometimes it's just that you're having the crack, and you just have this capacity to do that.
Yeah.
And that is fine, and you're having great crack, and you're feeling good, and why wouldn't I have another one? You might pay for it the next day or maybe the day after, but as long as you can leave it at that, that's fine. But if you're completely relying on this alcohol every night, and then you're like, there's obviously a problem if she's getting touchy about it. She knows.
If she's lying to herself in a way, and that's where a lot of, I could imagine a lot of the issues being from this, is that a lot of the issue is that she doesn't want to face the reality that she is drinking too much, and it does have an effect, and that, more importantly, that is masking something in it. Is that like, if there's been
it's masking something else. It's masking something else. Yeah.
So if there's some underlying trauma there that has to be dealt with, that she doesn't want to deal with.
Yeah. It's a funny one.
It's tough.
It is tough.
So how does he fix it?
Compassion.
Well, this is it. How does he fix it? Like, if it's kind of like the young fella hanging out it's kind of like the young fella hanging out with the wrong crowd. If you attack too much, they say you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Exactly. I mean, not saying they're flies, but like, you can be tough love, but then ruin the relationship with somebody, or you can be like nicey and kind of model call them too much. But you need somewhere in between. I don't know.
I think that it has to be from a place of compassion, and it's the onus, again, like the lad that's in a bad group, or the lad that doesn't want to thumb up his arse. Like, it has to be, the onus is on them to make a difference. And we all want something better for the ones we love.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It might not be there.
In saying that too, there has to be a balance too. You don't want to be walkover either. So you have to know when you've done enough as well, that it's not affecting your life too much. Obviously, it's affecting your life because you're worried, but there's only so much you can bring a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink.
Absolutely.
Or in this case, not make them drink.
Yes, exactly.
I'd like, at the end of the day, if she needs professional help,
that's true too.
Then you can make, not that you can make that happen, but you can talk to someone that can advise you how to approach it, and almost coach into to that point.
Yes, I didn't think of that. Talk to somebody
that might be able to coach you to a point where like
and even explain that. Say you've had to go to a psychiatrist or a doctor for advice to handle your problem.
That might be
that might be guilt. That might be guilt in them. Then they might feel like,
well, look, sometimes you have to try every sort of
angle.
We all know that it's the onus has to be on her, and that there can be a guilt on him, as per se. He'll feel guilty because he wants to help her make a difference in her life. But he can't get wrapped up in that. He just has to try and slowly get her to a point where she realizes that, first of all, she has a problem. She doesn't think she has a problem because she snaps back at the idea of it.
Yeah, well, he can't be leaving leaflets out for her, like, you know what I mean? Or like, hey. You know, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Can he do? I don't know.
It is difficult because
But look, obviously they're close. So if he's worried, and he's texting, obviously he's worried. So they're obviously close. So sit her down and just say, listen, I am so worried. Something.
But the other side of it might be that he might be worrying about something that isn't as serious. Like
I don't know, especially with lads. Lads don't tend to.
Lads can overshoot it altogether.
I don't know. Especially with a sister. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But lads.
What you mean? So you're saying like it have to be serious, or a lad wouldn't recognize it. Is that what you're saying, Steve? And you're saying, Chris,
or
lads
he
could actually.
He genuinely would be worried before a lad before he'd recognize it in his sister.
But look, he might be very quiet, and she might be very outgoing.
Well, that's true. That is true.
That's true.
Going out on 2 or 3 nights a week, and
that is true.
Listen,
I have that in my own. I have that in my own. Believe it or not, lads, I have that in my problem in my own kids, because one of them is 18, one of them is 16, and the 16-year-old girl has started drinking with her friends. She asked me what could I do. She was like, all her friends were drinking. I said, we've strict rules, but she's allowed to hang out with her friends. But my 18-year-old son is petrified.
Yeah.
Always worried. Like, you can tell when she's gone with her friends, you can tell when she is by just looking at my oldest, because he's a ball of anxiety until she's back in.
Okay.
That's tough. And like, again,
and I know that, well, I don't know, but I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, and so far so good.
Well, at the end of the day, like this girl has to make her own decisions. Your daughter has to make her own decisions. Women have to be given that freedom to make their own.
Of course, yeah. But this could be a flip side. It doesn't have to. This problem was the other way around.
Yeah, of course. I know. Yeah. I like. Yeah. At the end of the day, look, we all know that it's a problem that won't be solved on this podcast anyway.
No, it's true. But it's good to talk about it.
Conversation that needs to be tackled. Like,
talk about it. I have one more question, lads. I don't know if this is a man or a woman this came in from. Oh no, Aoife. Her job is very stressful. She has anxiety and she can't sleep at nighttime because she's anxiety about the job.
I can relate with the stressful work, because like I know if she's working to targets or stuff like that, it can be very stress-inducing. But like, I suppose what she has to do is be able to leave work at work. When she finishes work, just leave it down. I know I'm woeful guilty for bringing the laptop home with me. Just to do an hour. I was doing it last night. But as soon as I was like, once I had that laptop, I rushed through it last night.
On the red tube, like.
Yeah, obviously that's work.
I couldn't resist, sorry.
But like, I rushed through it because I was like, I want to get this shit done as quickly as possible because I want to put it down. And she has to be able to completely go, right, done. Not even going to think about it. Couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
What's the worst they're going to do?
Compartmentalize. You have to compartmentalize.
Yeah. I have my own theories on this. No job should stress you out or give you anxiety like this. Now, don't get me wrong. There's always going to be days in a month, or maybe one day of the week, that you're stressed about the next day. You didn't get enough done today. You're going to have to pick it up tomorrow. That's natural. That is always going to happen in a job. But if a job is continuously creating anxiety for you, or continuously giving you sleepless nights. By the way, then if you have a sleepless night, that makes the anxiety worse the next day, and it's a vicious circle.
Of course, it's a cycle, kind of.
It's a cycle, so it's never going to end. So the thing is, she has to step back and reconsider her job. I'm not saying doing anything drastic like quit anything, but
Steve, before you finish this point, I'll give a complete solution to this problem. Right? If your work is that stress-inducing, send an email to the dead hedgehogs, so dead.hedgehogs.channel@gmail.com. Email me, I'll call you, and I'll put you in another job, because that's my job.
That's true. That is true.
I'll get you another job, and like as I did for Steve, where I got him a whopper job.
There you go. There
So-
you go.
And then no stress. You'll be in the job you want. I'm making some money. We can do a podcast on it after.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
you go. There you go. There you go.
But
So-
but you're right. You're right, Chris. No job is worth it. You're going to get days that you're going to be stressed out at work. Everyone does.
Yeah.
You know, even jobs that you love are going to stress you out.
Yeah. I imagine teachers would be quite stressed. Do you know what I mean? Like if I was a teacher, I think I'd be very stressed.
But then also in teaching is on the flip side of that is there will be days that you'll go to school and the kids were unbelievable, especially national school.
Yeah.
And you come away thinking this is why I got into the profession. So the thing, but if it's stressful every day, well then there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's time to change. You can make that change because I can guarantee you that your job will be in the paper quicker than your obituary would if you died in the morning. That's just the way it is.
Work is only a means to do all the other great things that you want to do in life.
Yeah.
That's the only reason it's there. Like
Some
careers and
people-
purpose and stuff like that. Yeah, they're all well and good, but it's all for the good times, really enjoying yourself.
Some people's identity is wrapped up in their job, though.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
Big time.
and they have more. They're not embracing life as much as someone
But then it's time to if it's causing stress and anxiety, it's time to unwind that and change that up.
If that makes you happy, if your career and how it defines you, if it completely defines you and that's what makes you happy, 100% for that.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a funny one. Lads.
I've seen it down the years. People just give everything to their life and they're always tired. They're always sore. They're always this, that, and the other. They're always anxiety. It's all about the job. They come home. It's the job on their minds. It's no good.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
good.
It's a tough one. There's a work-life balance.
Work-life balance. You have to
Yeah, it has to be. Like some people love their job. They don't they say if you love your job, you don't feel like you're working at all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's some people out there. There's some people out there that have that.
Love what you do, and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, exactly. Some people out there have that, but not everybody is lucky to have that.
No, exactly. Most people are. It's just grinding out the numbers.
It's just a means to an end. They have a mortgage. They have
but
kids.
it shouldn't be causing so much aggravation or anxiety.
Yeah,
that's why there's a lot of depression as well. I'd say people are in a job. Job they hate. They feel like they're in a black hole. They can't get out of it.
70% of the time, where are you? You're either traveling to or from, or you're at work.
Yeah.
Like in your waking hours.
Yeah. That's true. So you might as well get a job you like. You know.
Yeah.
Gotta find something that you feel happy in.
Plus as well, like I mean, at the end of the day, no one's going to if your job isn't done. There's this perception that if I don't get this finished, the world's going to collapse. The world will not collapse. It'll continue on the same as it always has.
Yeah, the sun will always shine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And jobs come and go.
Come and go, and contact Chris, and if you do lose your job, contact Chris.
Listen, if anyone's looking for work, contact me. I'll sort you out.
Yeah, I'm living. I have to say, give more credit is due. I'm living testament to that. Chris did set me up with a fantastic job that allows me to do these podcasts and do social media stuff and get to gigs and whatnot, and still have a good job.
There you go.
Okay,
on being a living testament. And before we go into this other problem, I want to bring up the fact that it's actually 5 years to almost a week that Stephen had a life-changing experience.
That is right.
And kind of reshaped.
5 years since you got the thumb up the bum.
Yeah. The bum up the thumb.
Well, either way. 5 years on Monday when I had the aneurysm and was in the coma, or came out of the coma. It was actually 5 years Saturday, and I woke up, we'll say 5 years Monday, in Beaumont Hospital out of the coma, thinking I was still actually in Clamars.
Wow.
But 5 years. It's been such a massive 5 years. So many changes.
That's crazy. It's only been 5 years.
And we done
recovery.
So much. We've done so much in them 5 years.
It is crazy, and like there is a massive change. But like in the lead up to that happening, like were you under particular amounts of stress or whatever?
That's why I'm able to give the advice about the job and the stress and whatnot. I suppose to tell the story from the beginning, I nearly have to go back like into my early 20s, like years before the aneurysm. I was a bit of a wild buck. People say late teens, early 20s. Ended up having kids, and I was always working, and I always had houses built, and I was building one house, and I would pay for another bigger house with that house, sell the house, build again, keep working. My expenses were massive, but yet I was working hard, and had a great job, and money was flowing in. So
you're like a walking, talking Celtic tiger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I really was at a very young age. Like this, I had my first house when I was 21, like my first own house at 21. Like, I mean, it was crazy, but I was working every hour God sent me as well. And then I suppose drinking, as we were saying earlier on, we've lived the experiences. I was doing both. I was working hard. I had kids on the way, or a kid on the way. I was still, but that didn't stop me from drinking at the weekend. I was doing it all. I was stressing out, and this was going on for years. And then I had 2 kids, and then the work was still coming in, the money was flowing in, but yet the expenses were getting wilder, and the cars were getting better. But I had to work harder for that car, and you know, this sort of thing. So it kept on going on until then the bust happened, and of course, you know, it all sort of went tits up. And that, of course, was stressful as well. So it got to the point where I was so stressed that on top of me trying to work hard, I was also panicking and being anxious about getting these bills paid and whatnot. So at 28, my actual heart gave out. You know, it was true stress. It literally had over a couple of
weeks.
A
heart attack, basically.
Yeah, basically like a slow heart attack. My heart had stopped to about 12 to 14% of output, whatever that means. But I remember them telling me in ICU in Caspar, but I went to the doctor eventually. I went to the doctor a couple of times, and the doctor didn't know exactly what was going wrong. He thought it was the flu, it was blah, blah, blah. And then I went to a different doctor. Well, the same surgery, but it just happened to be a different doctor on the stay. She checked me out. She said, "You're literally having a heart attack as we speak. You're not leaving the surgery until an ambulance comes for you." So I said, "Listen," I said, "I'll be quicker getting a lift from the girl I was with at the time." She was a nurse. So she said, if she's a nurse, she knows what she's doing, and she'll bring me over. It was, she took my blood pressure. It was 240 over 160. Which was a crazy blood pressure. Like, I mean, I should have been having a stroke. So I rushed over, and they put me into ICU. Actually, what they thought I had was TB, tuberculosis. So I was put into an isolated ward, or into an isolated room, and everyone had to wear the hazmat masks or suits and everything like that. But so that was then. It turned out my heart was giving out, but it was all down to stress, and that's when I got into the fitness thing.
Hypertension as well. You had hypertension as well.
Super hypertension. Yeah, it actually the super hypertension blew a hole in my kidneys. That's how bad it was.
Oh wow! So obviously with the way that your blood flows, the kidneys are the ones that basically flush out all it's like a filter for
that's right.
taking out all the.
And your kidneys actually I didn't realize this until the time. Your kidneys actually can regulate your blood pressure, or keep it from going too low.
Sodium levels as well. No, sodium levels. Yeah.
So the pressure out of my heart was so much that it actually blew a hole in the kidney. So I eventually had an operation it was actually a clinical trial at the time. They severed the nerves. They cut off all the nerves between my kidneys and my heart. And eventually I got good again. That's when I got into fitness, and that's when I started running. At first I couldn't run 1K, never mind 10K or a marathon or whatever like we were doing. But eventually I was determined to make my life fitter and not to be as stressed out about work. So I started off trying to get fit and maybe stop drinking as much.
When was this? Because I remember this happening to you. I think
I was 28.
So I think this was just after Hardy Book's shoot, or just before, was it?
That is right. This is before the movie. Before the movie was
just
done.
before the movie. That's right.
This was the Hashtag was before the movie, was it?
Yeah, the Hashtag was just before the movie.
Because I remember it being the summertime when that happened. You were in Castlebar.
Yeah. So, like, I missed out on the movie because of it, and so that was fine. I mean, I after getting a shock like that, obviously, you're going to shock yourself into try and change things, and I did. I kept getting fitter and fitter, and then suddenly I was up to 3 and 5K, and I got out of the relationship I was in at the time, and then I got myself into another relationship. But after about a year, I sort of started to like get into that routine of working every hour God sends, trying to keep this relationship going, which was fantastic at the time. Trying to keep the kids. I had 4 kids by this stage. Trying to keep them happy, trying to keep my family happy. I had so many different angles. I was living in Claremorris. My kids were down in Swinford or further away. But I was still wanted to be a good father as well. I wanted to be good at work. And also I wanted to have a good lifestyle as well. So this was all, it was all getting very, I was getting very little sleep.
Tense,
very tense, yeah. And I was trying to keep all the bills paid again. Eventually I'd let myself get into this thing where I started to acquire materials and bigger cars again, and buying fancy holidays and buying fancy presents and whatnot. I fell back into the same trap again until one night. And also I was trying to keep fit. And also trying to have a social life. I mean, I was doing everything. I was burning the candle at both ends, in the middle, everywhere. And
you burn the candle at both ends and blow torching it in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. I really was. And eventually, then one night, what happened was the girl I was living with at the time. She went to a family funeral down in Cork, and instead of going out that night, it was actually Easter Saturday. So maybe it was because I was working the next day, or because it was the pubs are closed on Easter Sunday anyway. So I don't know if they close at 12 o'clock. I don't think they do. But anyway, the reason I had been working, and I'd done a 10K the day before, and then I went working the next day. I was wrecked. But the lads wanted to meet up anyway, and I said, "Listen, lads, come over." I said, "We've a big screen television. We'll watch something." So we got a couple of cans, and the boys brought over whatever they were having. But I remember after a couple of drinks, I got so tired. And I said, "Listen, lads, you bet ahead. I'm not going to be able to stick it much longer." I said, "I'm just going to have a nap and see how I feel after a while." So I went up to bed, and the rest is gone from my memory. But as it happened, they heard me coming back down the stairs, and they said I got to nearly the bottom of the stairs, and when my eyes just closed and my hands just dropped, and I just fell forward, and just was out cold. So one of the lads thought that it was just that I fell, but one of the lads in the had just after doing a first aid course, and he knew that there was something that was this wasn't just a normal fall, and he rang the ambulance, and the ambulance just happened to be in Tuam, and it was on its way down past Claremorris on its way to Castlebar. Now, as it turned out as well, that one of the people on the ambulance was actually a cousin of mine, but she couldn't pretend to be. Apparently, you're not allowed. I think you're not allowed. Yeah, on a relation or whatever. But they brought me over to Castlebar, and Castlebar basically had given up on me. I was that far gone that the Castlebar rang my family, rang the priest. The priest had been there, giving me my last rites. So my family had been were over at this stage, and of course they were distraught, unknown to me, of course. When Beaumont sent an email, they must have got an X-ray off me, and Castlebar sent it up and said Beaumont said send him up, and we see what we can do. There might be some hope to save him. Of course, I was put in the ambulance and straight up, quickly followed by my mother and sister and family members. So went up to Beaumont, and the next thing, like, this is all unknown to me. I mean, I'm out for the cold. I think I'm still in bed in Kilmaris asleep, flashed out asleep.
And you went up and you got surgery straight away on your brain?
Like straight away by a genius surgeon called Daniel Rawlock. I owe him and the nurses and all the doctors and the staff in Beaumont probably my life, and of course Castlebar as well, but definitely, and the ambulance drivers. But definitely,
and the lad that rang the ambulance,
and the lad that rang the ambulance. Yeah, had the good sense to ring the ambulance, because in 2 minutes they could have thrown me on the chair and thought, just let me sleep it off.
Yeah, because that's what you think you do. Like, that's what you normally, you know.
But like, if you go back just before you go to get into, what happened in Beaumont and, your progression to move back down to Castlebar and all that kind of cracker, right? I know Peter will remember this, but myself, Peter, and Martin Maloney, we went over this was only a couple of maybe 2 months before. It was Christmas time, wasn't it? We were over at your house just after Christmas Day or something like that.
Yeah.
In Kilmaris, was it? In Kilmaris.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
You could tell that you were leading a busy fucking life. The house was full. There was Nerf guns being shot all over the place. The friends group you were in, they were lively and they were good crack and it was good fun. But it's only thinking back, and as you were telling the story, I was thinking back to that night, and it was fucking great crack. We had a great laugh.
Great crack, I remember that. Remember that.
I was just thinking back to that night and how busy it was, and
it was busy. Like
trying to keep that, maintaining that all the time.
And that's the
high
life.
Energy. It was high energy.
High energy. It was just a high energy life. We'd have these parties, and you seen the spread that was up there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like, that was it every single weekend. That was it every holiday. And it was great crack, and it was a great time, but it was awful tough on the body and on the mind, trying to keep up that, even when you were down.
Yeah.
Like even that night, the night before, I think that was the 27th.
Yeah, it was just after Christmas Day.
Yeah. On the 26th, like, we would have had just as busy night, and obviously Christmas Day then the day before. And that's how it was.
I suppose where you're really busy outside that again, because you're keeping 4 kids happy. You're going back to Swinford, and you've got stuff to do with
and you're trying to get fit in as well.
You're trying to get fit.
And I was trying to get fit. And I was trying to keep work going.
Whereas your girlfriend at the time, when you had gone away for a day or two with the kids, she's got a day or two off.
That's true. Yeah. But that look, that has always been my case, because I made it that way. Obviously, I had kids, and I loved
of course.
But it has made my life very busy. But that these things are expected. Now, I could have easily had settled down and been a nice, quiet lad. Had the 3-4 kids, and tied, or towed the line and everything like that. But that wasn't the way I was.
No.
But I've had a great life, but it has been busy at times. I've had a number. I wouldn't change it for a second. But definitely the aneurysm changed my perspective on everything.
So going back, so you were rushed from Castle. So you got to Castlebar. You were rushed at lightning speed to Beaumont.
Yeah.
Go immediately under the knife. Your family's around you now.
Yeah, well, actually, the ambulance obviously got there before my family did. They sped up.
Yeah.
And the surgeon, Dr. Raw, this is how quickly it happened and how quickly Beaumont sorted it out. I was on the table in the surgery, or in the theatre, waiting to go under the knife or whatever they used to open up the head. And he still hadn't got permission from a family member next to kin. So he was on the phone waiting to get permission off my mother to open me up before she even got there.
Right.
So my mother said, it's okay, I'll be there in 15 minutes anyway. And the doctor said, well, you might be here in 15 minutes, but if you don't give me permission now, Stephen won't be. So that is when it became real for everyone else. Well, it was real anyway. I mean, they read me my last rites in Castlebar. But that's when it got, that's when they realized that this, like, I might not come out of this. And the surgeon done what he needed to do. And
what type of surgery did he do? Brain surgery?
Like I have a place here where they drilled in and released the blood that was building up in my brain, and obviously I don't know if they stitch up or something like that. You seen the stitches, the metal stitches I had?
Yeah.
Or did you as well, Chris?
Yeah, I remember seeing the photos after before they.
Yeah. I'd metal. I'd 67 metal stitches just holding in this part here, where they just went in and just drained the blood out of my brain. But even then, they were told that I might be in a coma for 6 weeks if I wake up at all. But whether through will of myself, and because I was so used to such a busy lifestyle and making sure that all the kids were grand and everything like that, I came to, like, literally inside 24 hours, which they didn't want. They didn't want me to wake up so quick, because I'm just after having brain surgery, and less than 24 hours later, I'm out of. Like, so they put me back into a coma.
Right.
Yeah. But about 36 hours later, I came to, and I remember having loads of tubes down my mouth, and I was so thirsty. But I remember my family, my girlfriend and my family are in the same area, in the same room. There was 3 or 4 of them. There was more of them out in the waiting room. So I wake up and come to, and my mother and my sister Charlene are all around there, and I'm like, what the fuck is everyone doing in my room?
You thought you were in your bedroom.
Of course I did. I was like, what the hell is going on? What are you all doing sat around my bed?
Fuck.
So eventually they explained what had happened, but even when they explained it and I accepted it, every so often I drift back in. I was thinking to myself, well, what are you doing in Claremorris? I drift back into I forget what that's.
The drugs were still in your system, like.
Exactly.
100%, yeah, 100%.
But in saying this, I'm writing this down because there's so many tubes in my mouth I cannot speak.
Oh, right.
And I'm so tired. I'm thirsty. I was so thirsty. I was writing down Lucas said. Actually, the very first thing I wrote down was, did Saoirse get to Mass? Because Saoirse is my daughter, and she was meant to be served. She was served Mass the next day, and I was meant to bring her. And obviously, I woke up. Obviously this was Monday, but I still think it's Sunday morning. This is Monday evening.
Yeah.
And I did Saoirse get to Mass, and that was the first thing I wrote. But after that, then it was just Lucas said, thirsty. But they didn't want to give me anything because I only puked it up again. But they kept feeding me with ice, spooning ice into my mouth, which was a waste of time. But eventually, after about a couple of hours, they relented and got me a fizzy drink. And the doctor was there. You have to sip it. You have to sip it. You have to sip it. Of course, when I got the bottle or the glass or whatever they gave me, I walloped it. I walloped it, Chris. And it literally hadn't settled in my stomach when it just it literally projectile vomited all across the room. And I remember the doctor. In fairness, Dr. Curry was the doctor's name who was sort of watching over me. And I remember he was like nodding his head, and you could see it in his face. He was like, "Told you so."
Fuck it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and this is the most thing I want to get across. It put everything into perspective, and I remember my family, all came together again, and my friends and my girlfriend, everyone just united around me, and it made me realize that no matter how stressful life is, or I let life be, that they were always going to be there for me. And that's the ethos that I've worked off ever since. As soon as I got started to get better, I was never going to let stress and work dictate my life like that again. And yeah, lads, I get stressed out, but times and getting to gigs and whatever like that, or getting things sorted. But I never let it get to me that I couldn't just walk away and have a pint and everything be grand again.
I like, the funny thing is, right, because I like it each time that this, like the 2 times that this has happened, these life-changing events, it seems like you've come back to yourself in extraordinarily quick time.
Yeah, extraordinarily quick time, Chris.
Because I remember when you did, because say that happened on the Saturday night, right? And it was probably the Monday morning. I remember talking to Tom. It was Tom Kilgallen that told me that, for anyone that doesn't know the Boo. So he had rang me. So he rang me, and I said, "Do you know what? I'll send Maria a message, make sure that it's all right, and maybe we'll get to see him in a couple of days' time, because it's ICU. We don't want to be on top of it. There's family there. No, we didn't want you fussing or anything like that." So I was like to Tom, I was like, because he was like, "Will we go and see him?" I was like, "He's had major surgery. We'll give it a day or two,
Yeah,
and
of course.
text back a day or two later, and you were back in Castlebar. You were in the ward. It was like, what?
That's right. Yeah. I have.
So how long were you in Beaumont?
I was in Beaumont for 8 days, 7 to 8 days.
Yeah.
8 days if you include the actual night I went in. So that was incredible. Like my family were told that I have so many different stories, but I could literally go on for hours about what even the few days I spent in Beaumont, and even I'm not a religious person, but I could feel people's prayers and good wishes. I really could.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you said you had a thing about Michael Collins. What was the thing about Michael Collins?
That's right. I used to be having this recurring dream. I had messages for 2 different people. One was my grandmother, who's still alive, thank God. Touch wood. And that was that, to tell her that she's a mighty woman for praying. Tell her that and she's had tragedies in her lifetime as well. And the message to her was, tell your grandmother, or Kathleen, that all her prayers are not in vain, and that everyone is there waiting for her when she gets there.
That was from Michael Collins.
Yeah. Michael Collins is waiting there for you. Very good, Chris. And the other one was for another lady, and then the Michael Collins thing was, he was telling me who actually killed him. Who, he was telling me, because no one really knows who shot him.
Yeah, well, we all know, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers.
So I remember Michael Collins just kept saying to me, 45 Sandymount Lane. That's what all he kept saying to me. Go there and you'll find out who killed me. Of course, it was 1916. It was 1916 100-year anniversary. So it was probably in my head, the Michael Collins thing, and that just kept coming to the fore. And so that was that. But I remember, like, my whole attitude changed around that time, and of course the rest is history. Me and Pete ran from Dublin to Mayo. I promised Beaumont that I'd I'd raise money for them, and that's what we did. We set up 3 Bucks Left. We've done the live shows. It's been such an amazing 5 years, and I just hope that the next 5 years is just productive.
And tell me this, Steve. I'm asking this question, but I kind of know. I was going to say, do you have more of a lust for life now, but you always had a lust for life?
Yeah,
you always had a lust for life, and I think that's why I'm so positive, and that's why I keep giving positive advice to people, and that's why I keep telling people to get out and walk, and that's why I keep telling people to talk. I was lucky. I had great friends like you guys, like all the other friends that I have. I had great family, and I was lucky. But I always had a great attitude as well. Just get up and do it. No one can change your life for you. You have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can put in places, if you surround yourself with good people and have good intentions, and the rest will work itself out. If you're determined enough to have a good life, you'll have a good life.
Absolutely. That's
yeah. And I think that lust for life was what saved me. What saved me both times. It was literally, I could, if I had gone in with the attitude that I'm fucked now, I think I might not have pulled through either of the two life changing.
Yeah.
Do you have to remind yourself of that from time to time?
Not really, Chris. I wake up, I am very thankful, and I do know, and I have. That's why I want to make the most of life. That's why I love doing these podcasts with you guys. That's why I want to create stuff. And also I want to create something that my kids are proud of. That I'm not just 9 to 5. Not that there's anything wrong with being a 9 to 5 person, as long as you're happy with that. But I want to leave something that, when I'm gone, in maybe many years' time, that my family can look back and say, yeah, he done that, or he ran from Dublin to Mayo, or he ran along the coast, or this is a funny clip that he created or wrote, or this was a gig that he done. Things like that. Whatever I love, I want to do it right, and I want my kids to be proud of it, and I want to be proud of it as well.
Yeah, it's I suppose that's a great ambition to have, because it just drives you on to being creative and doing stuff that makes you happy and makes other people feel happy. And I know that doing the podcast here, we want to create something, just like it's not about becoming rich YouTube podcast. It's just about trying to be creative and doing something different to a degree. Give us an option for doing something as a team, as a dynamic.
100%, and it's a way to keep in contact as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's I wasn't sure was anybody want to watch these podcasts, but people do want to watch them, so we'll keep making them.
Yeah.
And you're sure, like we said before, we have a lot of life expectancy, life experience between Chris, myself, you, Cowboy. That's an amazing story. What I was going to say was your lust for life almost caused your aneurysm, and it almost cures your aneurysm at the same time. That's what I was trying to say.
You're right.
Because you had such a lust for life, you were trying to do everything at once.
That is right. But now I try and, like, yes, I still let things get in a heap. But when it comes down to it, what I am able to do now is filter out what is the most important. So I might have 10 things to do in the day, and I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to try and do these 10 things. But then by 1 o'clock, you quickly realize that you're not going to get through the 10 things. So then I'm able to quickly realize, well, which is of the 7 things that are left to do, which is the 7 that needs to be done today and are the most important and prioritized. And then other things can wait.
Like I think when people talk about aneurysm, it's 95% of the time it's in a very tragic light, and I know personally myself, I had an aunt who passed away quite young from an aneurysm, who also had a drink problem. So there's a lot in this podcast that I relate to my own life, and she was life and soul of the party. She's brilliant. And it's nice to hear that after something that could have been so tragic to yourself, to us, to your family, you know, that there is very much a very positive message at the end of it, you know, that
Yeah.
you read
Yeah.
that there was a life-changing event for the better.
For the
Did
better.
you did you uh, did you see the light, as they say? Did you see the light?
Do you know what? I say I did. When I say that, because the messages were coming through crystal clear. Like, I remember waking up with these messages for these two particular people. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not the most religious of men. I wouldn't throw away a mass card. I think I've said this a few times.
Mm.
But the two people that the messages were coming through for were probably the two most religious people that I knew at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means. And as for an actual light, yes, I seen like a light, but they do say that that's the light of the theater.
The fact that you have a message for someone that is so deep,
Yeah.
has such deep faith,
Yeah,
could be, now you could say it's your own subconscious telling you
that could be true. But
a story that, like,
Chris, the second person wouldn't have been to the forefront of my life.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But I just knew that this person was deeply religious. Like, this wasn't even a family member.
That's interesting, because I asked my brother the same thing. He was in an accident, pretty serious accident, and I asked him, did he see the light? And he said he's seen the light, and it said it told him to come back. And I said, yeah, you came back, and now you're a bollocks.
Listen, guys, have we one more question before we go? Because I gotta get going here myself.
we'll wrap on this. Okay, so it's so this ties things up into a nicely neat little bow, and hopefully this podcast has helped this person. Basically it says, I'm at a low point in my motivation. I find it very hard to be happy in myself, and I feel down. What should I do? So
yeah, that's a quite an apt question at that moment in time, because I remember Shane Finn. I said to Shane Finn, what motivates you? He said, what motivates me is I know I'm going to die. And what motivates Stephen is pretty much you did die nearly. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah.
So we're going to die someday, and some people might think that's a bad thing, but maybe it's a good thing.
A fucking inevitability. You don't get out this thing alive.
No, but I'm saying to lament on the fact that you're going to die, to be morbid, but it's not morbid. I think if you think about your death, it's maybe a good thing to realize that this time that we waste on Facebook and social media, it's precious time, and we should be making the most of it, you know, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
and your story brings that to the forefront there.
That's why I cannot understand people that this is going to bring it off in a different, that take, you know, like, want to take their own lives. And I know that there's some people that suffer depression and that sort of thing, and I feel so sorry.
Steve, people don't want to.
Well, I know that, or that's what I mean. Yeah. I mean, it's a sickness.
Yeah.
But or they're in that position. But I feel so sorry for them. But what my thing is to just get the motivation. Your life is so precious, and you're precious to everyone else around you, and you have to make you have a duty to make the most of it for your own sake. You know, it won't matter. Like, you know, it won't matter to me if Mickey, that I don't know in Roscommon, doesn't, you know, do the best in his life, but it matters to him, and he needs to know that, and everyone needs to know that you have to try. You have a duty to yourself to try and make the best of your life. Everyone wants to be successful. There's no one in this world that wants to be like down and out or depressed. So the thing is to get the motivation, the willpower, to do it for yourself. Give yourself motivation as best as you possibly can, because life, when you want it to be, it can be absolutely fantastic.
When it comes to motivation at the moment, it's very difficult to be motivated all the time. We're in this kind of weird quandary where it's like this repetitive, weird cycle. And, you know, every day seems the same, even the weekends. No one's really getting a break or can get the full fulfillment of what they want to do. There is no gigs and live music. There is no meeting your mates for a couple of pints. There isn't, if you're sticking to all your restrictions, then you're not able to go climb a mountain, jump in the sea for the majority of
100%,
people.
yeah, 100%. And
Motivation is, it's like you have to.
But I think we had a similar question in a few podcasts back. I say take this time, no matter how long it is, and hopefully it'll be shorter, to better yourself. Put yourself in a position that when things do open up, that you're looking sharp, your mind is sharp, you're fit as you possibly can be, you're as healthy as you possibly can be, both physically and mentally. Get yourself into such a brilliant place in yourself that the world is your lobster then after that.
Yeah, and don't be hard on yourself if that hasn't been the way it is so far.
Yeah, no.
Because you can't.
Tomorrow's always another day.
You can't
100%.
You can't
100%.
redo the past. But like, I know personally myself, I found it very hard to be motivated all the time, and I am busy. I'm always busy, flat out all the time. So I find it hard, and it is demotivating when you're pushing yourself to do stuff, and you're like, there is not as much downtime to enjoy yourself, like get to hang out with your mates or do whatever, so don't be hard on yourself. Find something that inspires you and go for it. Very simple.
Yeah. And also people don't realize that motivation is it's like bathing. It's like taking a wash. You have to do it regularly. You have to find something that motivates you regularly, because you might wear off. You have to recharge the batteries, read a book, get encouraged, talk to somebody, 100%. Meet somebody, talk to somebody, get that encouragement and motivation up again, and realign your goals.
And then realign your goals. Exactly. That's what I was going to say next. If you hit a target, well, then maybe it's time then to up your target. And keep it going, and keep, that your target then should be to maintain that target.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the big things as well about your story, Steve, is community. You know what I mean? A lot of social media is about me, or how good the person can do, and we're doing. There's no community in social media as much. But your story is about family, friends, and yourself. How you got through together. That's what willed you to get better as well. Community.
100%.
So people have to remember that too.
Yeah. Like that, try and surround yourself with people, with good people. Yeah.
So look, I think we'll wrap that. Look, thank you very much for everyone for watching. If you have been inspired by Stephen's stories or any of the crazy advice that myself and Peter have given out today, you might subscribe to the channel. That would be very kind of you. Like the page, hit the notification bell. If you hit the notification bell, you'll know when we go live and when we do these podcasts. And if you can spare the price of a pint a month, which you can't buy in the pub, you might go on Patreon and be able to help us fund this saucy venture. Very simple.
Yeah.
And guys, if you're watching the podcast, just tell people about it. Just share it on your WhatsApp group and tell people about it. And that'll be appreciative too. Word of mouth as well.
And if you soap up your hands and stick your thumb up your bum, let us know what happened. How did you enjoy it? Let us know. We need to know. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you there.
Perfect. All right, lads. Pleasure again.
Good luck.